Okay, before anyone gets too annoyed, the title is purposefully quite dramatic. I'm actually a big Xbox fan. All of my childhood was pretty much spent playing Xbox. What really got me into playing games in general was Xbox. I am a huge fanboy of Halo to a fault. I adore Fable, I love Forza. Xbox Live was some of the best times I ever had playing games in the 360 era. The people you would meet, the friends you'd make, the laughs you would have. It was such a good time, and I'm always going to consider myself a huge Xbox fan, despite the fact that I am much more behind Sony currently. Xbox have a ton of benefits, and they've got Game Pass on their side, they've got a great Xbox Live system, and their connection to PC gaming is really one of their huge advantages. But Sony have absolutely killed it, not just recently, but also this entire generation. The Xbox One's release was a huge fucking disaster. The PlayStation 4 didn't do incredibly well, at least in terms of the games they were putting out, but the release itself, the PR, the marketing, it was far above anything Microsoft were doing back in 2013. And with everything we've seen from Xbox, and with the recent PlayStation 5 showcase, I think it's very, very clear where this generation is going, at least to begin with. Things can change, things can always change, but currently, Sony are killing it. But before all that, this video is brought to you by the Ridge wallet. Is your old wallet falling apart, unnecessarily big, old? Well, Ridge has got you covered. It holds up to 12 cards with a clip for cash on the back, and there's over 30 colors. You got your carbon fiber, you've got your burnt titanium, you've got your forged carbon, anything you want. Personally, I went with the matte black because I like the sleek and simple look. It's incredibly durable, and each wallet comes with a lifetime warranty, so effectively you could use these same wallets for the rest of your life. And they also provide a service that allows you to test drive for 45 days, so if you aren't happy, you can send it back for a full refund, so it can't even hurt to give one a go. There's a reason they have over 30,000 5-star reviews though. And on top of that, don't forget the RFID blocking technology, which protects against digital pickpocketing, which is a huge benefit. If you're interested, head to my link in the description, ridge.com/lasers, and use code lasers for 10% off at the checkout. That's ridge.com/lasers, and using code lasers for 10% off. When you turn up to a Sony event, you know exactly what you're getting, and I think that's a huge benefit and credit to what they do. When you turn up to an Xbox conference, when you turn up to a Ubisoft conference, there's a certain way that they present things. There's a certain amount of fluff to it. There's a certain amount of catering to an audience that really isn't their prime audience, and it's very strange. I said this on stream, and I think it really rings true, is that when you go to a Ubisoft event, when you go to an Xbox event, and you watch their stream and you see what they have to offer, you come away feeling like an idiot. You come away feeling like they believe you're an idiot, and you come away feeling like you don't really know what you just watched. I feel that Xbox events and Ubisoft events, they treat their audience like a bunch of children, and it's incredibly strange. When you see the way that they talk about things, or the music that they use, or the way they structure their events, it doesn't feel like it's for you. It feels like it's completely for somebody else. And I'm sure there's an audience for those things, and I'm sure they love that, but the core gaming audience can't really take that shit seriously. At least, I can't. When you turn up to a Sony event, it feels like they get their audience. It doesn't feel like there's a huge disconnect. It feels like Sony get the people that they're making games for, and they market it to them so very well. It feels like Sony's events and Sony's conferences are made for adults with functioning brains that want to play great games, and I really fucking respect that. When I turn up to a Sony conference, I'm not given a bunch of fluff. I'm not given a bunch of bullshit. It's just straight to the point, showing us the games we want to see, taking their shit seriously, and being efficient in doing so. I come away feeling respected as a consumer. I don't come away feeling like I've been taken for a fool, and that's what Xbox do these days, at least for me anyway. But let's talk about the games. Let's talk about what we saw, because this event was so fucking hype, and I cannot begin to describe my joy. Events like this just make me remember why I love playing video games and why I am so into this industry. I come away from other events feeling just demoralized, like, why do I even play this bullshit when I'm getting all of these fucking pre-order bonuses shoved in my face? These bullshit half-assed remasters, DLC before a game is even released, and so much other shite that just bogs down this industry. But Sony just come out with what you need to see and what you need to hear. These are the fucking games, this is what they look like, this is what our hardware can do, here's the prices, here's the pre-order dates, go wild. That is respectable. Final Fantasy XVI was a game that was rumoured to be here, and it was fucking incredible, to say the least. I was beyond hyped. Is this Final Fantasy, boys? Yo!
You should not be up. Your father will be expecting it.
I'm sworn to protect him.
Yes! God, I love this, like, aesthetic. It's like fucking medieval. It's so cool. Yes, boys. Oh my god. Fucking yes. That was so good. They've opened the stream and they've just whipped their massive cock out. Like, Xbox, look at this. Look at our fucking huge dick. But you wish you had our huge dick, don't you? Fucking hell. An incredible opener for the show. Final Fantasy is back as an exclusive for Sony and also coming to PC. There's been some errors during the show, like with Demon Souls, and we'll talk about that later. But Final Fantasy XVI is said to be coming to PC as well as PlayStation 5 as well, and that is incredibly exciting. It looked incredible, it sounded incredible. I hope this game absolutely nails the structure and narrative that makes a Final Fantasy game feel so unique. 15 missed a lot of the marks with that, and I do hope to see Final Fantasy XVI returning to what people loved about these games. I am not a Final Fantasy veteran by any means. I adore Kingdom Hearts. Final Fantasy VII Remake is one of my favourite games of all time, and I did enjoy Final Fantasy XV despite its flaws. But I can definitely see where they went wrong, and I hope that 16 is a return to form for Final Fantasy. The setting looks brilliant, and I really cannot wait to play this thing. Spider-Man Miles Morales. This looked fucking stellar. I mean, Spider-Man PS4 on its own is a brilliant, fantastic game that so many people love, and I am a huge fan of that game. This looks so, for lack of a better word, spectacular, and I cannot wait to jump into this. Just the whole vibe, the tone, the music and everything, it's got such a great vibe to it, and it looks astounding with the power of the PlayStation 5, really showcasing what this console can do. Now, these games are coming to the PlayStation 4 as well, and I'll talk about that a little bit later because people have had issue with that, but it really shows what the PlayStation 5 can do. The resolution, the frame rate, the absolute visceral quality of the games, the amount of stuff that is happening on screen, the destruction, the particle effects, how smooth it looks is just fantastic, and they really use this demo to showcase what the PlayStation 5 is capable of and what it can do. And that's another thing that Microsoft haven't done for some reason. They're talking about all this power that's in the Xbox Series X, the most powerful console on the market, but all we've seen is this, and it looks bad. And this is how you show a console. Sony have nailed it, and we know what the PS5 can do. Oh my god, the Harry Potter RPG from Avalanche has finally been fucking revealed. I lost my shit at this. Well, we don't need a release date for Spider-Man because we know it's a launch title for the PS5, and we're gonna get the PS5 release date.
Magic,
What?
both beautiful and powerful.
Wait, what? No way!
That common bond
What the fuck?
is the legacy.
What? What? What?
It's time to add your
Oh
own
my
story
god,
to these
man!
The world beyond these walls.
What the fuck? What am I looking at right now? Oh, this is insane. What?
The legacy.
Look at that. Oh my fucking god. Oh my god. Now, there's been a ton of controversy about this because obviously J.K. Rowling said dumb shit on Twitter in the past about many things. Do we want to get political? No, I don't really want to get political. It doesn't really matter what my opinion is on J.K. Rowling or what she said. I don't need to really talk about that here. But the point being, she has said things that people are not happy with. If people want to boycott the game because of that, I mean, go for it, I guess, but at the end of the day, the only people you're going to be hurting by doing so are the developers working on this game. It's been confirmed that J.K. Rowling has had no involvement in the production of this game, and it's entirely being made by a studio that is very passionate about the thing they're creating. If this game completely flopped and nobody bought it, the only people you'd be hurting are the developers. J.K. Rowling would still be sleeping very soundly in her very expensive bed, in her very expensive house, and she'd still be a multi-millionaire. You're not going to ruin J.K. Rowling by not buying this game. And I think that it might be a poor tactic. I understand if you're very put off by the things she said, and those things she said have affected you personally, and you don't want to play or have anything to do with Harry Potter as a franchise, that's a different story, and that's totally cool. But if you're a huge Harry Potter fan, and this is something you would love to play, I'd advise you go for it and play it and buy it, because it's worth supporting the developers that have put a lot into creating this game. You are not going to hurt J.K. Rowling by boycotting this game. You're only going to hurt the developers that are working on it. Obviously, it's a tough topic, and it just depends on how you feel on the matter, but the only reason I would ever suggest not buying this game is if you genuinely don't want anything to do with Harry Potter, in which case, you probably wouldn't even be interested in buying the game in the first place. But those things aside, the game itself looks bloody spectacular. I'm a huge fan of Harry Potter, and it just looks absolutely fucking brilliant. I can't wait to see what the extent of the world is, the way that the spells are used in the game, what you can do at Hogwarts and outside of Hogwarts, the extent of the character customizer, where the story goes, are the dialogue options, how much of an RPG is this. I am so excited. I am so fucking excited for this. This is something I've wanted for such a long time, and honestly, I've been talking about it for probably 6-7 years now. You could probably go back to some old live streams where people are like, what's a game you'd love to see? I'm like, fucking Harry Potter RPG. That's what I would love to see, one of those. And the fact that it's happening, I'm so fucking excited, man. I'm so stoked. We then got some other games that I'm not hugely interested in necessarily, but I know some people obviously are. Things like, obviously, the new Call of Duty coming out, of which the demo looked pretty fucking cool. I loved the set piece, sold me that it might be a game that I'm interested in playing. I used to be a big fan of COD, and maybe this will be something that I'll enjoy as well. I really enjoyed the recent Modern Warfare that came out last year, so maybe this I'll have fun with as well. Resident Evil 8 looked absolutely terrifying, and I'm not a big on horror because I'm a fucking scaredy cat. You know, a lot of people are excited for this, and, you know, I'm not going to play it because I'm too scared, but, you know, it looks really cool nonetheless. Deathloop is a great concept, but I'm not into quirky, silly, like, funny games, and that's sort of what it is. The concept is really cool, and I much prefer a sort of serious take on this sort of type of game, but then I guess that's just sort of Hitman, isn't it? So, you know, I guess I've got that. We then had Oddworld and Five Nights at Freddy's, and they also showed Fortnite a bit. I don't care. And then we got a good look at Demon's Souls, and this was a game that I was not interested in. I'm not a big Souls fan. We did stream Dark Souls Remastered over on Horsey and Fox, and it was a fun stream, but I never touched the controller because I didn't really want to, and even watching it was honestly kind of depressing. What was really fun about it was talking with the chat and having a laugh on stream, but the game itself didn't really appeal to me. The tone of the world, all of that stuff, it just, something about it just made me feel just not good, and I think that's the point, but it was in, like, not a good way. What am I saying? I don't know. My point being, Dark Souls never really appealed to me, and so I didn't think I'd be interested in the Demon's Souls remake. However, this short gameplay clip, the trailer that they showed at the end, the way this world is rendered, the animations, the visual fidelity is so fucking beautiful in every single way that I am sold now, and I really want to play this game. I am a huge fan of boss fights. I'm a huge fan of difficulty in games. It's why I play, you know, all the Kingdom Hearts titles on the hardest difficulties, because I just love learning bosses, attack patterns, leveling up, all that stuff, and just taking down this fucking thing that's taken me hours and hours and hours to fight. I love that. The only thing really stopping me from playing a game like this was the tone and the vibe being so eerily depressing that I was like, I'm gonna feel sad playing this game. But watching that Demon Souls footage, I'm like, honestly, that looks really good. And the way that the world is rendered just feels like something I would genuinely enjoy playing. It might be a game I'll stream, it might be a game I'll play just on my own. But the Demon Souls demo and trailer looked so good that I am now sold on a game that I didn't think I was going to play. Demon Souls as well was said to be releasing on PC, but they actually got that wrong and after the fact corrected themselves. Honestly, kind of embarrassing, and they definitely should have proof checked that. Mistakes do happen, but on something this large scale, people should have been checking this so that didn't happen. A lot of people are disappointed, understandably so. Not myself, because I'm going to have a PS5, so I don't really care, but that is a shame, and it is a little bit annoying for people that do care about that. But regardless, game looks fucking astounding, and I can't wait to jump in. The PlayStation Plus collection was announced, and it's sort of an alternative to Xbox's Game Pass, not quite in the same way. There are some third-party games on there, there are some PlayStation exclusives on there. It's not the same in terms of Game Pass having all of their first-party games coming to Game Pass as soon as they launch. PlayStation have said it's not sustainable for the huge budgets they put on their first-party games, and I think that's understandable. I assume eventually the games, as they release, will eventually come to the PlayStation Plus collection as they decide to add them, but upon first release they won't, because these games are such big-budget AAA titles that it's just not sustainable. Like they said, they'd lose a lot of money, and they wouldn't be able to make games of the quality that they do if they put them all on this thing from the get-go. So I understand that and am behind that. Xbox games aren't as high budget as we've seen, and so it does make a lot of sense. It's cool nonetheless though, and it gives people a lot of access to PlayStation games they might not have played yet, especially people that have had an Xbox One for this entire generation. They're going to pick up a PlayStation 5, be able to get PlayStation Plus, access to the collection. They're going to be playing Uncharted, God of War, all of these games. It's going to be incredible for those people, and I think it's great. And then we got the price, pre-order, all of that stuff. The price, I think, is fine. It's exactly the same as Xbox. The Series X costs the same as the standard edition version of the PlayStation 5. The digital version of the PlayStation 5 is $100 cheaper, which is pretty cool. And it's kind of hilarious, actually, that there's not a huge price difference between the digital PS5 and the Xbox Series S. It means people could actually just pay that little bit more and get a console that's way more powerful if they wanted to. And that's kind of hilarious. I'm going to be getting the standard version. I mean, I've already done my pre-order, which was crazy. It sold out instantly everywhere as soon as pre-orders went up, but I managed to get one, so that's great. I'm getting the standard one because I have so many PS4 discs that I will want to keep playing, so the digital version wasn't really a good option for me. I would have ended up buying a bunch of games again that I already own, but I can't wait. It's great, and it's super hype. It's a bit of a shame that it releases a week later in the UK compared to pretty much everywhere else. I don't know what that's all about, but, you know, what can you do, eh? And then we got a short teaser for God of War, the sequel. I don't know whether it's going to be called God of War Ragnarok, but the tagline is Ragnarok is coming. I feel like it might not be called God of War Ragnarok. I feel like they're waiting to announce the actual title of the game, but for now, let's call it God of War Ragnarok. Obviously, they didn't show much, just a little logo and a tagline. You hear Kratos speaking. It was fucking hype. What have we got? God of War? Are we going to be seeing... Oh! Oh, yes.
You must prepare yourself.
Oh my god. Ragnarok is coming. 2021? What? That's so soon. Oh. And let's just quickly discuss the issue that people are talking about, that PlayStation 5 games will not be PlayStation 5 exclusive. I was under the impression they would be, but apparently they're not. Miles Morales, Demon's Souls, all of these games are going to be coming to the PlayStation 4 as well. Horizon Forbidden West. That does hold back next gen a little bit. I remember moving from the Xbox 360 to the Xbox One, the PS3 to the PS4, and straight away we had games that were made for the next gen consoles. We had Rise Son of Rome, we had Infamous Second Son, and they were made for those consoles to showcase the power of the next generation. We don't seem to have that this time around. There are some games, I think, that are going to be just for the PS5 and just for the Xbox One. There's not many. Most are going to be cross-gen, and I think in this day and age, it's a bit more doable. I think it makes a lot more sense because consoles these days are much more similar to PCs, in which case you don't have to really worry too much about creating an entirely different experience for both platforms. Going from the PS4 to the PS5 is not going to be as big of a jump as it was from PS3 to PS4, in which case you were changing so much and games improved a fuck ton with just how much you could do. But games have reached this point where when you look at Uncharted 4, or you look at God of War, or you look at Red Dead Redemption 2, and you see these games and how realistic they can look, we've hit this point where we're not going to be seeing this huge improvement in visuals the same way we did before, but what we are going to be seeing is an improvement to the little things, the quality of life things, load times, the amount of stuff you can have on screen at once, frame rate, resolution, ray tracing, things like that improve the overall game experience. So I think it's a lot more feasible to have a game release on PS4 and PS5, but have those minor differences be on the PlayStation 5 version. So for example, Horizon Forbidden West, on PS4, it'll just look like Horizon Zero Dawn. On the PS5, you'll have higher resolution, higher frame rate, you'll have ray tracing, you'll have no load times because of the SSD, you'll have improved lighting, you'll have high resolution textures potentially, lots of things that'll improve the way that the game looks and the way that the game plays, but not exactly higher polygon models or anything like that, because you don't need it. The models look fantastic. They look perfect. I can't imagine needing anything else there. So it's one of those things where the jump isn't so great that I don't think it's as big of an issue to have the games running on PS4 as well as PS5, because those improvements that the PS5 allow for are things that you can do. And down the line, I'm sure we'll get some games that utilize the power of the Xbox and the power of the PlayStation 5 solely so that we can really see what these consoles are capable of when you push them to their limits without the restrictions of the previous generation. But I don't think it's going to be as big of an issue as it would be to have a cross-gen game from the PS3 to PS4, such as Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I think it'll be a lot more of a seamless experience this time around. I did want to talk about that regardless, because a lot of people aren't too happy because they thought they were being sold one thing, and so did I, to be fair, which is a little bit strange that they've now come out and said, oh, but also they're cross-gen too, because I didn't think that was the case, but apparently it is. Anyway, that's all I really had to say. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Are you going to be getting a PlayStation 5? Are you going to be getting an Xbox Series X? Are you going to be getting an Xbox Series S? Let me know. Which PlayStation 5 are you going to be getting? What games are you most looking forward to from this event? What are your thoughts? Let me know. I'd love to hear it. Don't forget to check out my other channel, Lasers Live, where I'm going to be streaming a bunch of shit. That's where I do all my bits and bobs and pieces. It's good stuff over there. We're having good times doing some streams. Go follow me on social media. It's where I update everybody on what I'm doing with uploads, what I'm doing in my life, and my thoughts on things that I don't end up making videos on. So there's that. Go and check it out. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to drop a like, subscribe, all that good shit, and I'll see you all very soon for another video. Catch you later. Bye-bye.